So in order to achieve maximum income, there are some business development skills that you must master. So we're going to cover that real quick. I'm sure you're interested in that, right? I didn't hear you, right? Good, thank you. So the first skill you absolutely must have in business, I don't care if you own a business, you work in a business, you've got to know how to sell. Why? Because sales equals income. Now I want you to repeat that out loud. Sales equals income. Go. A little louder, please. That's right, because any organization, any individual I've ever seen that's ever had a cash flow problem is because they or somebody in their company doesn't know how to or thinks it's not important to know how to sell. Sales is a life skill, and we'll cover that in other programs. But if you want to build massive and passive income, you also need to know how to build a championship team. That's right, a team that can work with you, that's aligned, pulling together, that will generate income for you whether you're working or not. The third component that I learned many years ago in my own businesses is that you also, particularly as a business owner, need to pick up the skill of learning how to teach. Not only teach, but to teach other people on your team how to what? Sell. That's key. Particularly starting in 2007 when the economy turned around and went a different direction, now everybody on the team must know how to sell. Now that's a subject for another time. When I left the sales organization that I worked for and started my own business, was a trucking operation in Southern California, I learned these tools very quickly. Nothing that I was taught in school. As a matter of fact, most of what you're learning here was never taught in school, so stay tuned. There are a couple other components. One other component is this. To have a business, you also have to have strong systems. Cash flow management systems, referral systems, marketing systems, selling systems, and yes, we're going to be talking about little voice management systems, ways to control the war between your ears in 30 seconds or less. These are critical, otherwise the business is just you and you're working your butt off for not a lot of return. The other skill, business development skill, is accountability. Accountability particularly to numbers, knowing your numbers, knowing what it takes to generate the income you want to have, to gain the muscle mass you want and the energy and the health that you want to have the relationships you want to have. This is a formula that will prove all those to be true for you. But probably the single most important business development skill that I'm going to be referring to in all the programs is the one right here at the bottom, and it's called the Code of Honor. It's one of the books that one of the best-selling Rich Dad Advisor books that I wrote. It's a set of rules that you have for yourself or that you have for your team that holds the team together. You see, one thing I learned many, many years ago is that every great organization, culture, religion, family, sports team has one thing in common. It's a set of rules. The 10 Commandments. Have you heard of the 10 Commandments? Good. I'm glad you've heard of the 10 Commandments. You've heard of the Constitution? Of course. These are classic codes of honor. These are rules that are designed to bring groups together, to hold them together on a mission or a purpose. And we had created one for my little trucking company way back when, my first real business. And when that business almost failed so many times, it was the code of honor that brought the team together and made us one of the fastest growing air freight trucking operations of its kind at that time. And I've worked with organizations like Singapore Airlines and Morgan Stanley, IBM, L'Oreal, Redken, all over the world, helping implement not only these business development tools, but the code of honor to hold the team together. But the one thing that stands in the way of this whole magical formula, there's one thing, and I'm going to ask you to think about, look at this formula, and you tell me what the big problem, because there's a big hole in this thing that will sabotage the whole thing if you don't know what it is. Well, have you figured out the problem? Is it a lack of teamwork? Is it a lack of money? Is it a lack of accountability? Or is it you?